Welcome to SibSpot, where more entitled parents are letting their children run wild. Our first story today is by Neurotic. Entitled Mother Demands I Tutor Her Child. I'm an English teacher. Love the job. I mostly love my students and their parents. I feel blessed that most parents are good people. They are worried about their children and progress, can be angry, but can always be reasoned with. I get positive feedback on my teaching and managing my classes and the students. Parents are generally happy with me. Unfortunately, I still have to deal with entitled parents from time to time. The Karens of parenthood. This year, I have 4 classes of last year's students. They will take their exams, and with a bit of luck, I can shake their hands at graduation and wish them the best in their future education and life when they get their diploma. To get to that point, they still need to take exams for their subjects, mine included. They can work in digital books or in their regular paper-bound ones. I don't really care what works best for them. I also don't mind tutoring, but I have my conditions. You do your homework. You pay attention. If/when you think you understand, you can start on the homework. You do not interrupt me when I'm talking or explaining. You ask questions. Basically, the basics of what a student should do. This class knows exactly what the days and times are for their test, including the material. I made those dates known 2 months in advance, as I know that some really need or could use that time. I have uploaded everything in Google Classroom concerning the materials of the last 3 tests, along with links and materials for extra practice. Enter Entitled Student, ES. Entitled Student doesn't work on my subject in class. I have corrected him numerous times, sent numerous emails to his parents and team lead about his behavior, and have had many meetings with all parties involved. Promises are made by him and his parents about bettering himself. He knows and understands that what he does isn't good for him and doesn't help create a healthy learning environment. For added info, he doesn't have any learning difficulties, mental health issues, or anything. This behavior was known in primary school and the years before. School isn't a priority, his own words. I have offered tutoring on the previously named conditions and told him that with his current behavior, he can't get my tutoring. He's free to ask other teachers, but at the risk, they will ask me about him, refer him back to me, and/or refuse him. Both him and his parents understand that and have said so. They agree with what was said. To the story. Exams are coming up. He has not done a thing. Every piece of advice has been given, and a lot has been practiced. They are drilled and drilled on all the strategies, tricks, and everything they might encounter. Then, the week before the holidays, there are no classes. Students can make appointments with teachers or teachers to invite students for extra help, etc. I have sent 2 different emails to 2 different groups per class. Both students and parents got this email. One saying that said student is more than welcome to come at XYZ time if needed, but I need to know if a student comes and what they want to know so I can provide the material. I sent a couple links with extra material to practice for good measure. I sent another email to a group per class. I basically told the parents and students that although I'm disappointed that they didn't do the work in and for the class for the exams, I'm willing to tutor them at YYS times this week. Same amount of time as the students who did put in the effort, along with material and links. Why did I do this? Quite simple. I want my students to pass. Some were lazy because they had good grades and understanding of the material. However, some don't and are just lazy. I don't want them to fail and then retake the year. Also, it puts me in the parents' and the school's good books. You know, in case things go to heck. The same information is also posted in their Google Classroom space. I get several responses thanking me for my time and effort, especially for those who didn't do a thing in class. 3 students took me up on the offer. They came, we discussed some things, and they practiced some more. So the week for tutoring ends, time slots are over, and then it happens. I got an email from entitled parent, mother to ES last Friday evening. She wanted to know if there was another possibility for her son to have some tutoring. Since I needed to reply to a different email, I also responded to EP and told her no. The holidays start on Monday, this Monday, last for 2 weeks. Mondays are my day off. Tuesday, I am not at school due to private matters. Husband has surgery. I'm taking him. And Wednesday is the test for my subject. He's had the entire week to come to the different times stipulated in Google Classroom and the email. For good measure, I asked if a colleague wanted to help in our teacher group chat. 3 said they wouldn't mind. I suggest to the entitled mother to email these colleagues of mine and see if one of them has time on Monday or Tuesday before the exam on Wednesday. On Saturday, entitled parent sent an email to me demanding that I tutor her son, entitled student. Her reasoning? He needs it, so I should just do it. He's my student and it's my job, no one else's. I've got holidays now, so I should have plenty of time to help her son out. I don't respond. It's my holiday, and after 2 near burnouts, I've learned my lesson about not working in the holidays. It's Wednesday now, and this woman has sent no less than 22 emails. I just had contact with a colleague who is like the team lead of my department of students. He is angry, and we'll deal with it. I'm so glad that this parent doesn't have my number. Teachers are only capable of doing so much. They put in extra hours already to make students pass. But this much I definitely know. Some students will simply not pass a course and will procrastinate and avoid responsibility until the last second, while playing dumb with their parent, acting as though they try so hard, and the teacher is just bad. Their parent often doesn't understand that their kid's a lazy slacker or he goofs off in class. But in this story, the teacher actually told the parents that his behavior made it so he would not receive tutoring from them. And they still tried to get some emergency help with like 3 days left before the exam, when that grace period where they said, you can come in and get tutored during this week, had already passed. He's not going to learn everything he needs to with 3 days to go. He's a lost cause, a waste of the teacher's time. That's the truth. Story 2 is by Mystic Scone. Entitled mother walks away and leaves me alone with her special needs child. I, 29 female, work at a place where we stretch people, literally lay them on benches and stretch them. It's like physical therapy, but for stretching. Our clientele ranges from older people looking to regain mobility to middle school athletes. For the most part, I enjoy it. We have this one teenage boy who's brought in 2 times a week and appears to be severely autistic. I don't know his exact diagnosis, nor is it any of my business. His mom brings him in, and from what I can tell, he can't communicate effectively or do anything on his own. He usually works with 1 or 2 of my male colleagues, who will call MC1 and MC2, male colleague 1 and male colleague 2. Both of them have built an excellent rapport with him, especially male colleague 1, and he seems comfortable with both of them. Last week, he ended up on my schedule for the first time. Male colleague 1 was scheduled to leave right before he arrived, and male colleague 2 was working with somebody else. I was surprised, but really wanted things to go smoothly, so I had MC1 give me tips on working with him. Male colleague 1 even waited for the kid and his mom to arrive to introduce the kid to me personally. Even getting him settled on the table took some work, but the second I did, his mom walked out the door. As in, left her special needs child alone with someone he is unfamiliar with. I am not a healthcare worker. I am not a social worker. I am not a special educator. I do not know his diagnoses. I do not know anything about his care beyond the fact that he comes in 2 times a week to get stretched. If he has some sort of outburst or episode, I would not know what to do. She was gone for a good 20 minutes before she came back, saying she went to the nearby grocery store. Sessions are 50 minutes. She spent the entire rest of the session in the corner on her phone, completely ignoring us. At one point, I needed him to situate himself diagonally, and he didn't understand. So I'm waving at her and eventually had to shout to get her attention. We finished the session okay, but I was secretly pretty annoyed. We're not a babysitting service. We're not a caretaking facility. Leaving your severe special needs child alone with someone he just met for the first time doesn't sit right with me. Am I overreacting? I feel like maybe a little bit, but I guess she has her reasons and she has her concern. There are people that swear by having this sort of thing done to your spine it will fix so many issues, and other people who can barely walk ever again after having it done. I would never go to one. It sounds awful. As for the OP of the story, she's a little bit overreacting. A lot of autistic kids are fine to work with. Like, I worked with a couple in school. I did have to kind of get to know them first. They had a one-on-one that would help them. But usually they're not that bad. But I guess they can be a handful. It wouldn't be unreasonable to say, this is our first session together. Could you, the mother, stay here to make sure things kind of go well until there's more of a rapport between me and the teen? Story 3 is by S. Rita Unicellular. Child-free couple on their honeymoon in a world full of entitled parents. Rant. My husband and I are in Hawaii, and boy, oh boy, pun intended, is this solidifying an already pretty darn solid stance against having kids. We picked a resort that has an adult area on purpose with an 18-plus only hot tub. Couldn't find an adults-only resort within our budget. The rules are clear. There's a giant sign that tells you this is for adults only. After a 10-hour flight full of screeching children, so thankful for the headphones, we definitely needed to decompress. We arrive at the hot tub to find a group of unattended children screaming and splashing around like a pack of wild hyenas. So we begrudgingly waited. They left before I could mention it to a staff member. Second day, we came downstairs as soon as the resort area opened to find a mom with a stroller blocking the path and a baby on her lap inside the hot tub. We got in regardless this time, and another couple joined us shortly after, and they were clearly annoyed by this as well. Maybe I'm hyper-aware, but it seems like everywhere we go, a crying child follows. Bar after 10 to 11 o'clock at night? You better believe children. Adult-only areas? Children. Casino in Vegas? Loud R-rated movies? Believe it or not, children. Tattoo shops? They bring their children. And they complain no one considers them, when in reality we have built a society that prioritizes them, and we are forced to deal with the massive inconvenience and noise pollution, even in the very few spaces we are trying to have just for us. This story was featured in a subreddit called Childfree for people that elect not to have children to share the stories that just make them want to have children even less. The worst one is the mother with the infant in the hot tub. It's rude and entitled that she blocked the path off to others, but she doesn't know that her baby's actually in danger being in the hot tub. I had to Google it to be sure, because I was pretty sure it's dangerous. And according to the CDC, no child under 5 should be in a hot tub because they're more sensitive to heat and can quickly get overheated. Not to mention, infants aren't potty trained, and this is why they generally wear diapers. That, in a hot tub, is nasty with a capital N. So gross. Stories for today are all finished. I really hope you enjoyed listening. If you enjoy these stories and want to hear more and help me reach others, click like or subscribe or leave a comment. All these things help more people find their way here. I'm actually so happy with how things are going so far. We went to the store earlier, came home, and I had almost 300 more views on one of my episodes, which is just awesome. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Until we meet again, have a spectacular day. I'm going to run out of words to insert here one day. I feel like I've already used spectacular. But anyway, take care.